Welcome all. Myself Ashish Venkatesh Prabhugaonkar, Assistant Professor at DCT's Dempe College of Arts and Science. This module is for Bachelor of Science, third year, subject Botany, semester 5. Course code is BOC 105. Course title Classical Taxonomy and Phylogeny. Name of this unit is Unit 2, Systematic Position, Bentham and Hooker's classification, diagnostic features and important ornamental, economical and medicinal species. In this module, we are going to look at family Caparidaceae. In this module, it highlights systematic position of family Caparidaceae according to Bentham and Hooker's classification, diagnostic features of the family Caparidaceae and important plants in the family Caparidaceae. At the end of this module, we should be able to classify family Caparidaceae, explain various diagnostic features seen in the family, and list out some important plants in family. Family Caparidaceae belongs to dicotyledons, subclass Polypetalae, series Thalamiflorae. The series Thalamiflorae is characterized by petals and stamens hypogynous, that means ovary is superior. Order is Parietales, which is having the character placentation is parietal. The family is closely related to some other families such as Cruciferae and Papaveraceae. It contains 4 genera and about 700 species, which are distributed in tropical, subtropical and warm temperate regions of the world in both hemispheres. Diagnostic characters of this family. Family Caparidaceae is known with herbs, many herbs which are having glandular pubescence. In the shrubs, pubescence is not there. Flowers are actinomorphic, having all petals similar, and the flowers can be divided into many planes, but sometimes one of the petal gets modified. You can see in the Caparis munni here, one of the petal is modified to form a lip-like structure. Then the flowers are zygomorphic. Gynophore or gynoandrophore is often present. Petals are 4. Sometimes they are numerous. Stamens are few in some members and some members have indefinite stamens. That means a large number of stamens can be found. Ovary is unilocular. Ovules are found in parietal placentation. Fruit, a capsule or a berry. So we have come across a term gynoandrophore. So we look at what is gynoandrophore. Frequently, internodes of the thalamus, where the floral whorls are attached between corolla and the androecium and between the androecium and the gynoecium, they get elongated. The thalamus get elongated to form what is can be called as androphore, that is between the corolla and the androecium. The thalamus extension can be called as androphore, and between the stamens and the gynoecium it can be called gynophore, and the one between androecium and the gynoecium can be called as gynophore. And in some genera, where example is Gynandropsis is a genera where this typical kind of condition can be found, then it is called as gynandrophore. So some of the members of this family show presence of gynandrophore, which is kind of unique character of this family, which is shared with another family, Passifloraceae. General characters of this family: some are herbs, example is Cleome, you can see in the first picture. Some are shrubs, example is Caparis, you can see in the second picture. And some are trees, that is Crateva. So a wide diversity in the habit can be seen in this family. Leaves are alternate, they are simple, or in some members they can be palmately compound. They are with or without stipules. Inflorescence is racemose usually, and sometimes the flowers may be solitary. Flowers are bisexual, having both androecium and gynoecium. They are regular, actinomorphic. Regular means having all the whorls. They are actinomorphic. But as I said, sometimes a single petal may get modified to make it zygomorphic. Flowers are hypogynous, ovary superior, cyclic. They are tetramerous. The calyx and corolla lobes are 4. Stamens may be indefinite. Bracts are often present, that is bracteate. Calyx, sepals usually 4. They are free. They are in imbricate aestivation in 2 whorls. Corolla, petals are 4. This is tetramerous. Rarely more, or sometimes the corolla may be absent, and the role of a petal is taken up by the stamens, which are numerous and colorful. Flowers sometimes zygomorphic due to hooded structure of petal. Androecium, stamens 4 to numerous. When stamens are 4, they are alternate with the petal. Anthers 2 to 4 celled at the maturity. Filament is very long. Gynoecium, carpels are usually 2, rarely more. Carpels are united, they are not free. Ovary is superior, it is one chambered. Sometimes they have 2 chamber. Formation of rapulum can be seen. Placentation is parietal. Ovules are numerous, they are compylotropous. Style is 1, short to filiform to elongate. Stigma usually 2-lobed and capitate. Fruits of various types, example siliqua, capsule, berry, nut can be seen in this family. Seeds are reniform, that is kidney shape. Endosperm is absent or very scanty, and embryo is curved. Few important plants in this family are Polynesia viscosa, Cleome viscosa, which is a common herbaceous plant. Cleome gynandra is cultivated for as an ornamental plant. Caperis spinosa is a wild plant. Cratava nerula is also a plant which is found in riparian habitat and also known as Varuna. Caperis spinosa, the capers, the fruits of it are sour fruits which are used in pickles, known as capers. Also Caperis zehranica is also used for similar purpose. Caperis munni is a wild plant. Cratava nerula is a tree. The family has little economic importance. Cratava nerula Varuna is used as a medicinal plant, as a diuretic, and also planted as an ornamental plant. Fruits of this Cratava nerula are edible. Ripe fruits and young flower buds of Caperis spinosa are known as capers, and it is used to make pickles. These are the references for this module. Thank you, students.